It's been a while since I've been here, so you might be a bit surprised, but just finished a tournament pretty recently, and it was in Rochester, the Rochester Open, and it was a pretty strong tournament. I mean, I went to it with the goal to, face some 1800 like level players, and just try and get as much rating as I can. Um, but unfortunately, it was just mostly like 1700s and maybe a smattering of a few us 1600s, and then some really underrated people. Um, so yeah, it was certainly going to be interesting. And to start it off, I was up against 1700, which is a pretty solid player. Um, so yeah, I really didn't know what to expect, and honestly, there's no point even trying to prepare in these Swiss Open tournaments. So just figured getting the game, sat down, and I got ready. E4, E6. And we get a French defense. So this might be one of the first times you see me play it over the board because normally it's like an online opening, but I've started enjoying it quite a bit more and started studying it, and it's certainly given me really good results and the difference here. So we get the classical, and I play the winnower. Now, the point of the winnower is that I mean obviously we're pinning this knight, and the main line goes e5, c5. Point being e5 because we are now threatening to capture because the knight is pinned. Um, but yeah, he went here, bishop d3, and he actually told me after the game he barely knows anything about French theory, which explains the following sequence, which is this. All theory, by the way. I'm attacking his bishop, and the main move is to move it back, which then I'll strike with c5, go here, and then try and get a bishop here. I mean, more or less that's the game plan. Obviously not in that particular order because there'd be problems, but I figured I'd stick to this. But he went f3, and I knew this move wasn't good. Okay, but it's difficult when it's like six moves in and someone plays something to slow down and be like, okay, I might need to do something completely different. Like I like it just put me in uncharted territory. And the moves I calculated here were the best move, which is knight here. And what I calculated was knight takes, pawn takes, queen check. Obviously, if he goes here, he loses the rook. So like king f8, and I mean, maybe I like gain a pawn, but I don't know. I'm actually not quite sure why I dismissed this. Maybe I mean I blitzed out my move pretty quickly. I think it was more so because I was rusty at this time control, and so I figured stick to principle and we'll go c5, which is a good move, but not the punishing move. So he develops, takes, queen takes, everything gets traded off, and we reach this structure. So here I thought for quite a while, and well, this is like where I took my first big thing, and point being that the moves that we're considering were taking here to just fully mess up his pawns, taking here and going knight c6. Maybe castling, but I just didn't like it. So my problem with knight c6 right away is that I actually am fine with this trade because I have the bishop pair and more open files. So now I'm feeling good here. But my problem was that he could do something like this, and suddenly there are going to be problems here. And along with knight c6, this move doesn't super work because I'm thinking about it more. I'm like, well, I just isolate my pawn, and what if he just castles queenside, right? So I'm like, okay, we'll go bishop d7 to play knight c6, and then if we get the following line, or let's say what happened in the game, bishop here. He told me after the game, yeah, you let me off the hook by not taking here and ruining my structure. But honestly, I was just trying to play like simple chess, just like sit down, not make any mistakes, and try and just focus on the objective. So I go here, knight c6, and now after this, I had prepared honestly just like castling or even like rook a c8, and I was like, okay, I'm fine. But he moved back instead of you know helping me activate my bishop, which it's a very reasonable move. I thought it was very good. So I just castled. He castles, and now I go rook f d8. I thought this was a pretty obvious move. I didn't spend too long on it. Literally, I'm just supporting, and I might want to push the A pawn, so that's why the F work is better. And here's where both of us made a miscalculation, or more accurately, he made a miscalculation, and I mixed up lines, which is that here he has the option to go to bishop here. However, I just moved pawn here, he moves back, and then maybe I go like something like this. I mean, yeah, this looks reasonably good. And I felt very comfortable. But because he didn't, he plays here. And so I'm thinking in my brain, I'm still thinking, okay, this move doesn't work. And he thinks it as well. He's like, okay, this move doesn't work. Um, or at least like it's not scary. It's not a scary threat. Um, and so I just kind of ignored it, right? I'm just kind of ignored it. Okay, like this, I would just move with F6, but obviously I can't now. Just a little detail changed. Um, so I went here. Yeah, SD is to go knight c4, but this just wins. Just I just completely missed it. Or rather, I didn't miss it, but I mixed up what I was thinking because honestly, after a line like this, um, it's just bad. So he goes here. I have to move back because if I take his bishop takes, I move back and he goes here and look, double threats, dual threats of rook d7 and b4, and I'm just gonna be down piece or an exchange. So that's rough. Um, but he didn't play there. He missed it. And here I made the decision where I'm like, oh, I just got really lucky. So let's play simple, play solid, and let's not do that again. Okay. So bishop takes, rook takes, and now I go with the plan. Knight c4. He attacks it, and I put my knight right here. Just pressuring, pressuring. Um, and here I was expecting something like rook g1, or I mean, I saw the move that he ended up playing in the game, but I just kind of dismissed it because of bishop c6, which I blitzed out because now his threat of going here like isn't really good. And his knight's strong, sure, but I can always undermine it. And and here there's a lot of fascinating options. And I saw that there's this cool thing that after rook here, I can just go here. Point being that obviously can't take because skewer. Um, and so that doesn't guard it. Um, and then I was also calculating things like the knight just moving. But I mean, he went with the most reasonable response. And now you may go like, oh, knight g2, look at that, tactic works, but it's not the same because of here. And now this is under attack. His knight isn't hanging, and I genuinely just can't defend this. Like I can't defend both. And yeah, this is a lot harder to play. So I came up with this knight f5. It got a single. It got a single exclamation point for being the only good move. And my thought process was okay, let's get his really good knight traded. And more specifically, like if he moves, we just take, go here. Wait, really? Just move here. Rook AC8. Going here to threaten this. Oh, interesting. I digress. He took takes, and he backed it up. I traded off pair rooks generally just because in an endgame, the opponent with two rooks, if your opponent has two rooks, they're gonna have way more drawing chances. So if you want to win, trade off pair rooks, but not two. I mean, two if you can, but they usually won't let you. Bishop here, he's threatening both of these, so I'm gonna solidify, and he goes here. So he guards the G2 pawn, and here's where the game gets a bit hectic, you could say. Um, because I put my rook here, I pressure this, and then he responds correctly with knight b5. And here I made another miscalculation, which does not bode well for the rest of the tournament, which is my first thought process was okay, which pawn's more important? Him taking here or me taking here? And I was like, okay, I don't think I should go for something like this and like this. What is the best move actually? Yeah, and the computers mostly play here, but my thought process was that after takes and something like this, I have a 4-on-2, but I also have almost nothing on the queen side that can stop him, and he's just going to get these rolling. And I mean, guess I have things like this now. I guess that's a threat, but I just I my the reason why I went my move is that I misevaluated his response, and I just wanted to have 2-on-3 and 4-on-2 because I'm gonna get this pawn. Um, so I went here though, and my reasoning was that if he goes here, I would go here. And I completely forgot he can take my bishop, and suddenly I lose. But I completely forgot that he could go here. And so I was thinking he was going to go like this. I can't take because I'm mate. Um, and I would do something like this, and then the position would just get wacky. But again, I saw that I was going to be down 2 pawns here, so I'm like, all right. But then after he played here, I'm like, wait a minute, my whole plan doesn't work. So he just takes my bishop. So that was a bit of a cold shower. So I just went here. Um, trying to trade. He goes after the bishop. I think for a while, and I eventually decide I can't guard both of these. I'm gonna lose the pawn, but I'm gonna get this one back. So yeah, uh, we reached here, and I was like, okay, well, I threw my advantage. Um, I definitely I completely threw because now you this ISO pawn, I'll get it, but I all my pressure is gone. It just dissolved, and that was hard. But I'm like, okay, well, I'm not playing for a draw. I was kind of beating up on myself, but I'm like, stay focused, draw the game. So I activate my rook. He pushes pawn. I attack it, push it again, and I try and cut off this game, which is very good because rook activity is the most important thing in rook endgames. He goes here, and I go here. Point being, I want to bring my king. I want to bring my king over to the king side. There we go. I want to bring my king over to the king side, but I'm always worried about rook attacks down here. So I'd rather just put my rook on a good place, cut off this file, and now I'm going to bring my king over to the queen side. He goes here, looking to bring his king in, and I go for here. Point being, if he pushes, his pawn feels pretty extended. But once everything gets traded off, it is admittedly 2 against 0, but my king gets there. And I'm like, okay, how does he win this? Because it's surprisingly difficult, right? So he goes here, and now I'm just like, okay, well now his king is just completely cut off. Let's go and try and get rid of pawns because I'm here to draw this. I'm not here to win this. 3-on-2. If I can get both of these pawns, it's a draw, guaranteed. And so he checks me first. I go here, and then he checks me. I go here, and he made a mistake here, actually. Um, because he miscalculated, or rather just missed a move that I had uh, a bit down the line. Because he went here, full on sacrificing the pawn. And so I took, he went here, and after he took, he thought I had to trade, but actually no, he didn't. He just thought that I had to like move, and then he goes here and wins these. But I just kind of went here, and it's just a draw because he can't guard both. So he pushes. I take, and now I'm threatening main one. That'd be unfortunate. So he moves, and I pretty much run my king over to the king's side. He moves. He has to stay on this rank to guard this pawn. He moves. Um, we trade off pawns and then trade off into this endgame. He offers draw and I accept, and that's how we start off the tournament. With a draw against the 1700. So rating points. I was a bit disappointed with how I performed and how I played, but it's a good result, and I'll take it. So see you for the next one.